Be quiet.
Welcome.
Nava.
Yeah, we gotta get some people together now, Mama.
Well, Kamari, turn that desk around so Nava doesn't have to slide underneath. I don't want that over there. I don't want that. Nava, put the cup on the table. Put the cup on the table. I don't want it over there.
I think they just did it. Set them up. Right. Because you got 3 seats.
Stop that.
Watch out. Watch out. Anybody go?
Here, you guys come over here.
I get the bring it back from all the extra. You logged on? What's in that balloon?
I don't know. I know. It's a little choppy.
Quite sure. If you log on.
Says was
Still recording? You want to come on? Ariel, put your dress up. Sleeve all your stuff. Alright, you good?
Nava, sit down, bro. Nava.
Welcome everyone. I can't see you guys. Shalom, you guys. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the banner. True matter of Lord Yeshua. She beloved. Holiness instructor, discipleship drill sergeant. About to get into the book as usual. Just a little bit. It's gonna be like a little talk, think tank, what they call it. Meeting. Anyways, definitely give all honor to the Almighty Yah through His Son Yeshua Mashiach. Double honor to the apostles, the prophets, evangelists, the teachers, the elders, bishops, the deacons out there teaching and living His word, causing people to repent and bring their hearts back to the Father. Definitely all the brothers and sisters keeping His commandments, His statutes, His judgments, His precepts, and His ways out there in the trenches, doing the work, trying to save souls, being the light of the world, being the salt of the world. All the people in this walk that's just started, making those steps to repent and come to this gospel. Definitely appreciate all of you guys. All the people that share and like the video, share, like, subscribe for the YouTube. People appreciate you guys. Love you guys. What you guys are making into the kingdom. I'll see you guys when we get into the kingdom. So, praise the Almighty. How you feeling?
I feel wonderful.
How you feeling? Okay, that's cool. Superficial type people.
That's your kick.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right. Let's go, Kamari. What you want to say to the people? Already? Go ahead. You guys dug me out. Come over here. No, come over here. Front. There you go. Come back. Come back. All right. Come back up. There you go. Hurry up. There
Hair
you
is
go.
up. Sorry, tuck her hair in the front. Brittany did a bad job.
There you go.
Go
Go ahead. Come on.
Come on now.
Come on. Let's go. You don't have time.
Come on now. Okay, then I'm not coming.
Come on now. Say hi to the people.
Come here.
What's up? Come here to me.
Nava.
There you go. All right. There you go.
Because they can't see her.
You want to stay to the people.
Hi. I'm going to lead you guys get into the kingdom.
Excellent. Praise the Almighty. So, let's get into the book. We got to do this. All right. So, let's get into this book. We're going to just hit a few scriptures. I will be teaching full service tomorrow. I always get a couple scriptures, 15 minutes short during the week. I know people have jobs and whatnot, but stay with us all 8 days of the feast. This is Feast of Unleavened Bread, Day 1. And so, let's get into the book a little bit. Give me Acts chapter 4. Acts chapter 4. And we'll start at verse.
Somebody cheated. They're already there.
We'll start at verse 32. 32.
I'm with you.
Okay.
You and me together.
It says, and the multitude of them that believed were of one heart and one soul. Neither said of them that all the things which they possessed was his own, and they had all things common. And with great power gave the apostles witness of the resurrection of the Lord Yeshua, and great grace was given upon all of them. Neither was there any among them that lacked. For as many as were possessors of lands and houses sold them and brought the prices of the things that were sold and laid them down at the apostles' feet, and distribution was made everyone according to he had need. And Joses, who by the apostles were surnamed Barnabas, which is being interpreted, the son of consolation, a Levite of the country of Cyprus, having land sold it and brought it the money and laid it at the apostles' feet. So I want to key on is there was none in the body that lacked because all people had all things common. No humming. So they had all things common. They took care of one another and they brought it to the minister's feet. And not for no pastor appreciation day like some of these false churches do. There's no such thing as pastor appreciation day. We go to the house. It's a house of prayer. When we come together, it's to pray, sing songs, eat bread for the Most High, hear the reading of the word, save souls, baptize people. Not for no pastor appreciation day. So, anyways, they came and they brought everything to where none of the brothers lacked. And they took care of the brothers' needs. And I say that because obviously, you know, with what's going on in the world right now, and all this shortages of resources and people not working, I don't know what's going to get flagged or not. So you guys know what I'm talking about. I see that where are all these people that go to these false churches when they need help? Where are all these ministers at? Where are all these pastors at? Another brother in San Diego, he was telling me that on YouTube, these people are trying to go to these leaders and like, hey, you know, I'm not working this, and they even told them like, hey, this is not what the church is for. Yes, that is. From what the book of Acts, what the scripture just said, hey, this is exactly because a lot of, especially these false churches, preach tithes and offering, which is Bible, it's legit, you know, the law and the prophets. I believe in tithes and offering, getting onto the Almighty and for the work of ministry, and for the things of the Most High. But a lot of these churches, you see that these ministers have big houses, nice cars, going on vacation. They spend all this money trying to have special seats and big buildings, and then you have brothers and sisters catching the bus to service. You have old ladies catching the bus to church, catching refrigerator empty behind the bills. These things are not be. So especially with what's going on in the world and shutdowns and lockdowns and all this, people's hurting. People's not working, people's hurting. Unemployment only pays so much, or whatever country you are, and they're going to these ministers and where they at. Have you heard of anything going on?
Brother Benson, and I know people have been asking around for assistance, and I know these individuals go to church. I know that they have a congregation, yet they're coming to ask other people for assistance instead of asking the people who, are the leaders over them for their soul.
You seen that happen too? Or have seen that happen? So, not only does any person come to the congregation to hear the word and to know what to repent from, to get baptized, to receive the Holy Spirit, and to walk in newness of life, to be the light of the world, to bring more souls, to produce fruit with the talents that the Almighty given them. But we still are in this flesh and we still are on this planet. You should be able to go to any of the ministers and say, hey, you know what, I'm going through a hard time. Because even if you look at tithes and offering, it says if a man needs all of his tithes, he can go to the priests or the Levites and whatnot, and then he can get up his tithes and he needs to pay 20% of what he took back of his tithes. But even for you to not have to do that, if you've been a tithe payer or giver, giving unto the Almighty, if you need help, the church should take care of you. That's what the body's for. This is when they sold lands and houses, which is way more than tithes and offering that you give on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, yearly. If you sold a whole house, that covers years of what you would have given in tithes to take care of other brothers and sisters. And they brought it to the ministers, and the ministers were upright with it. I think a lot of false churches, they get messed up with thinking that tithes and offering is just for the minister. Like the Apostle Paul, I follow the Apostle Paul. My hands minister to my own necessity, not only because the size of the congregation wouldn't warrant me to be a full-time minister, so I work, but also because I like to follow his role models. Like, hey, I'm not afraid of hard work, and it says not for covetousness. I do this to save souls. I don't do this for a paycheck. Not knocking any minister that has a congregation of 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 people, and hey, you need to be full-time ministry and praying and seeking the Almighty. Hey, I'm not hating on that. No matter how big we get, I pray that the Almighty, my hands can still minister to my own necessity, that I could be an example, and that I could use the tithes and offering money for the furtherance of the gospel, as well as to be there for brothers and sisters in time of need and for persecution. So let's even bring that to light as if this was a light persecution, or if this was some sign of persecution, or if this was the mark of the beast, or if this was a famine. Say there's a famine in the land, which is essentially it is. If you can't work, then how do you provide for your family? So people are hurting across the whole states, across the whole world, in Italy, all this. People are hurting because if stuff is locked down, you can't work, and if the government's not taking care of you, then you're going to slowly, deteriorate. And so these congregations, and hopefully I can pull some of these people, make you think, where are you worshiping at? Where are you fellowshipping at? And then what are your leaders doing? And then what kind of help you got? Now, to you people out there that just come every once in a while when you feel like it, you're not part of the body, you just come and you go to service, you spectate, or you're one of these people that come to service, and right after service you shake people's hand on your way out the door and you go on to watch the football game or whatever at a false church, or a congregation in truth, and you really don't have any relationship, you shouldn't be running to these brothers and sisters anyways. But if you're really trying to be there, you're out there outreaching, feeding the homeless. When the congregation is coming together, you're there helping to clean up. You're a part of the body. You're being a team player. You've been faithful to the Almighty through tithes and offering and whatnot. And when times get tough, you should be able to, you have that right to be able to go to your congregation, to your body, it says my mother and my brothers and my sister are those who are my family. We call them brothers and sisters. If you could go to your natural brothers and sisters and say, hey, I need $200. And some of you guys, especially the Hebrew family members, tripping. The Hebrew family is broken altogether, but for the basic Hebrew family, basic family in general, you should be able to go to a brother or sister and say, hey, I need some help right now. I'm going through a hard time, and they got you. So when you have brothers and sisters that are your spiritual brother, which should be a stronger bond than your DNA brothers and sisters, they should be there for you. Not only brothers and sisters, but the congregation as a whole. Two, I want to deal with the fact that Here, I'll show you one more scripture. Go ahead and give me Acts. Give me chapter 11. And give me, ready? Give me verse 27. Good job. You there? Got you. Acts chapter 11, verse 27. And in these days came the prophet from Jerusalem unto Antioch, and there stood up one named Agabus, signified by the Spirit that there should be a great dearth of famine throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. Then the disciples, every man according to his ability, and determined to send relief unto his brethren which dwelt in Judea, which also they did, and sent unto their elders by the hands of Barnabas and Saul. So there was a great famine, and they wanted to take care of the brothers in Jerusalem, because the brothers in Jerusalem, were going to be hit hard with it, or was hit the hardest with it. So they made sure all the congregations took care of other congregations. And that would be nice if there was congregations within the same faith that would take care of other congregations. I haven't seen that come to pass yet, because, as the days closer, it will be more scattered as part of the truth and whatnot. It will be like house to house and whatnot. But that's the mindset you have. During this situation, all these people out there that watch these ministers, and you should be able to go to your minister and, hey, what are we doing? What do you have for the congregation? As a leader, he should have something in store for an emergency, whether a hurricane, whether persecution, whether stuff in Revelation come to pass. There should always be where you could go to your spiritual body and the ministers have something set up. Now, whether they have 3 years or 6 months or 10 years stuff, and they can, like some of these Mormons, they can, and they sell this, and they mylar this, and some of these Jehovah's Witnesses have stuff deep down and are preppers, especially these Latter-day Saints and these Mormons, which is a branch off of the same thing, essentially. They're preppers. They're preppers. And it's sad that these people, not in truth, believe in some false doctrine, are in a better position right now than these people say, oh, we're truth. I'm the tribe of Judah. We're Hebrews. Yes, we're the people of the Most High. We're the seed of Abraham. And then you have this situation. Another thing I want you to think about is, where are those brothers and sisters at that you fellowship in this time of need? Where are they at? All shalom, brother. Where are those shalom people? Where are all those people saying shalom to you? When it really matters, where it really counts. And then what plan does your minister have? What contingency plan does he have? When you're finding a congregation or you're at a congregation and you say, hey, if this comes or the stuff in Revelation pops, what do you have for the congregation if this happens in our lifetime? Oh, that won't be, or this is spiritual come out, or this, or we'll just pray through it. No. What do you have? What are you doing with this money? What are you doing? What are you doing with this tithes and offering? What are you doing? And so, hopefully this can help you to not only find out the contingency plan for whatever spiritual leader you follow or you're a part of. Hopefully you have a congregation. These questions you should have. And two, this will show you how much love is really at that congregation. Because you're going to find out, especially Christians out there that just started coming to truth, you're going to find out real quick that it's going to be every man for himself. Because you could try to fake love all you want, but if you don't have the love that comes from having the Spirit, it's not going to be there. It's not going to be there. It's going to be every man for himself. But here it wasn't every man for himself. When there was a famine, they were helping out people all the way in Jerusalem. Hey, if you have the ability, what we're doing, like, they put a hat out and everyone puts money for a funeral or whatever they're trying to do. Everyone was working together to take care of other brothers. Brothers had need and lack, and they sold houses and lands and possessions, selling cars or whatever, chariots or whatever they had back then. But they were selling possessions because there was brothers and sisters that had need. There's brothers and sisters that had need. So I kind of like this situation, not because it's cool with me and I'm all super set up, but it gives an opportunity to people out there trying to be saved and say, hey, what are these spiritual leaders doing? And if they're not doing nothing, but they have the heart doing something, why did they get caught off guard? Like, things will catch us off guard, like if a hurricane or an earthquake. No congregation will be prepared for every single thing that can happen. Are you prepared? You might be prepared for EMP, and then you got something else, some disease that pops off that's killing people. You can't really come. Oh, we have thousands of bloods and dust masks, and we have Faraday cages for EMP, and we have extra rafts just in case there's a flood. Of course not. But the basic stuff of food and water and candles or, these basic things that your congregation is going to need for an emergency, that's part of being a leader. That's part of being a leader. That's part of being a leader. When the lights go out or an emergency happens, your kids and your wife immediately is going to turn to the husband or to the father for direction. So when an emergency happens and you're at a congregation, you should be able to call your ministers and say, hey, what's our plan of action? What's our contingency plan? Where do we meet? Where do we go? How do we eat? What do we do? You know what I'm saying? What's our contingency plan for this? And these ministers should have some serious answers. Or you need to question where you're worshiping at. Maybe that's not where the Almighty wants to plant you. You need to think about these things. Because with everything going on in this world right now, you're going to see who's real and who's fake. You're going to see who's real and who's fake. Go ahead.
Can I play that?
Oh, I thought you was telling her to be quiet.
This is the church finger.
Oh, I thought you was telling her to be quiet the whole
Boy
time.
Scouts. This is be quiet. This is Boy Scouts. This is the church finger.
So why would you be quiet when you did it?
I don't know. Because you need to be quiet. Look, I would like to play the antagonist right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. So with that being said, I completely agree that churches need to have their stuff together as far as taking the tithes and using it appropriately where they're setting stuff away for a rainy day. But also, every team is only as strong as their weakest member. So people can sit here and say, oh, the pastor's supposed to take care of me, or, my church is supposed to take care of me, but what have you done to take care of yourself? Because, you're going to have people who are like the widow woman with the mic, who they really honestly just don't have. And I'm just going to use a scenario. So let's say I make $100,000 a year, and with my $100,000, I buy boats, and I've got timeshares, and I've got a trailer, and I live at the brink of my means with my $100,000, and then the poop hits the fan. So why should me making $100,000 come to my congregation and say, well, I didn't really prepare for this. I spent all my money, and I'm struggling, and I need help. And then there's this widow woman who honestly, genuinely just doesn't have the money. I mean, she probably may have. She seems smart, right? So she probably did put some stuff away. But I, making more money, should use my money more wisely and be putting my money away so that if, for whatever reason, we all do have to dig into this pot, there's more money to go around for people who genuinely do not have. Yeah. And so I think as a wise minister and leader, he should be encouraging, if not mandating, that the members of his congregation be watching, praying, and preparing for the day to come, because we all know this day is coming. So I know, like with Straightway, so I've heard that people were coming to Straightway to Dow and his members and asking for help, and I don't necessarily agree with the means in which they did it. You take this, sucker.
Take this water bottle,
So I don't agree with the means in which they did it, but they were like laughing the people to scorn about, like, I'm not going to give you any of my food. Dow is a big pusher. I mean, Teacher Simon is too, of preparing, right? Of getting your stuff together, having you guys some stuff. He tells stories about when we weren't prepared, and we were sitting around the house with some tea lights, and this Cambodian guy that didn't even speak English, my neighbor, came with one of those Jesus candles. They didn't have Jesus on it, but those tall white candles, and gave us a candle because we saw we were sitting in the dark. From that day, we made steps to make sure that our family had, and we were prepared for this storm to come. So, Pastor Dow is a big pusher of, getting your stuff together and having your house in order. And so when he tells people to do this, and obviously you're watching him enough to feel comfortable to come to him and ask him for help, and then you come to ask him for help, and he's like, no, you've got the anthems been working all summer long. Then winter comes, you've been playing. Don't come looking to get resources when we've been working our butt off, telling you to work your butt off, and then you just choose not to. That's not really, the thing. So I don't agree with how they did it. I don't agree with laughing people to scorn, but I definitely understand, like, y'all played. You guys you didn't heed the warning. You didn't heed the call, and then now you want to suck dry, the resources that are left available.
Or use the congregation as Section 8, or EBT when you don't deserve it. Like, I agree. Jumping on what she said is, if you've been there and he's been telling you to prep, we don't put on a lot of prep videos because we don't want to advertise what we got going for us. So we put out a little bit of gardening, a little bit of rocket stove. You see some of our videos about the compost, about the solar oven. Put out a little bit, and go from there to give you ideas to motivate you about being a prepper. But one thing's for sure, when other people that make the same amount of money as I make are going out on vacation or have this extra money or have this big screen TV, I'm buying oats, and I'm buying beans, and I'm doing mylars, I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. And so, yeah, I don't have the newest car, I don't have all these flashy things, but those flashy things will help you in a situation like this. Those flashy things will help you, So I hope people understand I've always pushed being self-sufficient. How do you be self-sufficient? You have to get to the point where you can grow your own food. And before you can get to the point, you have to get to the point where you store your own food. Get you some beans. Get you every paycheck, 1 can of meats, 1 can of vegetables, 1 can of fruits. And that's just temporary. Get you some big thing of rice, big thing of flour, of oats, different types of beans. Get that stuff. Powdered mashed potatoes, whatever. Then you get into the mylar. Then you start stacking up for a month, and then whatever. Okay, so now you have some stuff stored for emergency. Now I need to start getting to the point where I can grow. If you people out there, you get self-sufficient, try to get you some land. Try to get you some land outside of Babylon. Try to get you some land outside of the United States. The United States is not where you want to be. This is a prime example. You know what's going on. You can't even leave it if you want to. Aren't they denying passports?
Unless it's like for death.
Unless it's like for death. They're not even letting you leave the country. So you're forced to be there with this virus or whatnot. Or you're forced to just be there, which they're slowly seeing every state is just coming closer and closer to martial law. I don't know what's going on, and I'm not saying, this is Bible prophecy and all these people jumping on it, whatever. I just want to deal with what comes my way. If it's things pertaining to Scripture, I'm going to deal with it. If it's not, and it's things that's just happening that affects, you got to deal with it according to doing that.
I heard, I don't know essentially how true it was, but a sister was saying that before they're going to allow children to return to school, some of the states were talking about testing the children. And so if any of the children were, I guess, any of the antibodies from COVID, that they would be allowed back in school.
Gotcha. So, canceling for getting passports, you're not allowed to leave the country. Where would you go? But I always push be self-sufficient. I'll put more videos on self-sufficient. I'll show you just a little bit. Be self-sufficient. Get out of Babylon. Get your passports. Get out of Babylon, or at least set up steps to where you can leave if you want to leave, and learn how to grow your own. It don't cost much. Hey, plant 5 apples, 5 avocados, 5 bananas, whatever. Just start doing 5, 7, whatever, however you want to do. Making your rows, get your chicken coop, get your goats, get your lambs, get your sheep, get all that good stuff going on. Get your solar game up on point. Like get your stuff together and be self-sufficient. So even if you can't buy, or even if there is a lockdown, you could be self-sufficient. Besides getting some tools here, some lumber here, whatnot, you're on point, and that's how you make it. They do not have power over you. They are literally breaking you. They're making it to, if I could break these people's pockets, then they'll accept anything that I give them because I'm giving them the food, I'm giving them the water, I'm giving them the electricity, I'm giving them the protection, I'm giving them this. You need to take this microchip, you need to take this vaccination, you need to take this indoctrination. Your kids have to go to these schools and get taught this and get taught that. They're breaking you. They're breaking your pockets. They're trying to bankrupt every single person in the States right now. They're starving you out to where you would take anything they do. When I went to basic training, because I went right out of high school, they intentionally give you sleep deprivation. There you go. They sleep deprive you. There you go. So then, that felt good. They sleep deprive you, so you're more docile. And then when the drill sergeants come up and wake you up, you say, man, I just don't want to do no bullshit, whatever. Yeah, sir, drill sergeant, sir, whatever. They do that on purpose. And that's the same thing. They're starving you out. And they're just, oh, we'll give you a little stimulus, or here's a little unemployment, or here's a little this, or here's a little that. They're starving you out, and now they got power over you. They got power over you. But if you're self-sufficient, it's like, man, I'm doing my own thing. I don't need your vaccination. I don't need your microchip. I don't need your currency. I don't need any of that. I just do me, and I'll barter the rest what I can do. So really have that mindset of being self-sufficient and being a prepper. That will go the same way, because if you're at a congregation and you see brothers and sisters, oh, we got the time sure we're doing this, and then stuff goes down, and like, why'd you get that brand new 2018, 2019, 2020 car? No, Goodwill, you don't have no food store. Do you even have a first aid kit?
And then those same people, you like, well, sell your car and use the money, sell it for cheap, sell for whatever you can get it for, and then use the money so we can, buy resources. That same person like, no, I'm not going to sell my, I'm not, they're not going to be willing to give any of their stuff, yet they're willing to take from the pool of money the congregation has.
Yeah. Or they're like, oh, I'll just pray through. Like, they're drunk. They make drunk decisions. They make poor decisions. They see this stuff happening, and they make poor decisions. And I'm just dealing with the members that are in a congregation that have foundations. Because if you have a congregation that has a foundation, they're not going to be blind, and they're not going to not know that stuff is coming. They're not going to see. It says, watch and pray that these days will come. We're closer to things dealing with one world currency or one world government. We're close. I'm not here to say the Almighty showed me or gave me or this is this. And, some people they just reaching out. They see some dead dolphins on them. See, this is Bible prophecy, a third of all that. Or maybe we're putting a whole bunch of plastic and toxins into the ocean that's killing these animals. Has nothing to do with the Almighty literally destroying a third of all the fish and all the sea creatures. When the Almighty does it, it'll be all at once. And then you see all this, and anything they do. See, there's a loud noise. That's the horn being blown. It's like, I don't know, maybe reaching to have something new, or to think, oh, he has a heads up, or the Almighty's just showing him all this stuff. And how we do it, we just deal with what comes our way. If it was a huge earthquake that destroyed a whole bunch of the earth, we just don't deal with it accordingly. And we see what's going on. This gives an opportunity for certain governments to take power over the people. And once they get that power over the people, they're not going to run to release that power. So, especially in the States, you think you're going to get some of your gun rights. Yeah, you think they're not going to monitor you. You think they're not going to pour more poison in your children. Oh, look at what happened. We would never want this to happen again. We would have to write this in the bill and pass this through Congress and this and that. And they're talking about not releasing children if they don't get mandatory vaccinations. So you give birth at the hospital, they won't give you your child until you agree to this. So it's a kidnapping. I don't see why they are like Lot's wife. They just do not want to leave the United States. I don't get it. The United States is not what's happening. The United States is to go there, get your money, and get gone. That's all the United States is there for, is to get your money set up and get gone. if you guys don't believe that the United States is Babylon, I have like a 5 or 7 part series. Check it out. If you have some disagreements, hit me up. If you think it's someplace else, hit me up. You know, we can talk about the scripture. It don't have to be a debate, be an argument, and let's just find truth. But for you people that do know that it's Babylon, you need to get opposites come out of her. And the difference is it says come out of Babylon, and it also says flee Judea. You know, when he says flee Jerusalem, he told the apostles to get out of Jerusalem, but at the same time he told them to go to Jerusalem and preach the gospel in Judea, right? So he says, when you see these times, when you see Jerusalem filled about armies, get out. Pray your flight's not on the Sabbath. If you're on the rooftop, don't come down because they'll kill you. If you're on the field, don't go back to the Jerusalem. Don't go back to Judea. Flee because there was going to be destruction in Jerusalem. Now, when you read the book back, they still stayed there. But rest assured, when they see these signs that Christ said were coming, they said, okay, it's time to leave now. And that's the same thing with Babylon. 100 years ago, there was people, Hebrews, still reading Revelation, and they were fine. They know this ain't going to come to pass nowhere near my lifetime. They're nowhere near to know one world currency and one world government and all this stuff, you know, going from there. But now it's getting to the point where, hey, this stuff is right around the corner with this whole 5G and the algorithm of artificial intelligence, the way to play with demons and talk to demons. You know, it's just modern day Ouija board. So, I think, what's that one machine they have? They keep it in ice. They keep it in a frozen ice, and they'll ask it a question, and then they'll give you the answer. And they say they pull it from an outside source, from ether or whatnot, and then it beats our fastest computer by like 30 minutes. Maybe it's or something. Man, they're getting that. They're getting that from demonic spirits. So it says spiritual wickedness in high places, but bring that back to being a prepper and everything. All this stuff going on. Be watching out. Hey, if you're at a congregation, you should be going to your minister and seeing his contingency plan. What do you have for the members? And then, hey, you can question, hey, what are we doing with the tithes and offerings? I mean, everyone should have a right to know where every dollar gets accounted for. There should be a treasurer, or there should be, when you have your meetings, this money's getting accounted for gas to pick up people. This money's getting accounted for this. This is this. This is this. Not, oh, you just put it. You don't know what's happening with the money. No, that shouldn't even roll. You know what I'm saying? Every dollar is accounted for by all members here at Trinity. So,
being a prepper almost reminds me of being a prepper in regards to being a part of a congregation. Reminds me of that scripture, let every man not think on his own things, but think on the things of others. If every member, if you had a congregation with let's say 40 people, and if every member did their due diligence to make sure that their family had enough food and water for whatever rainy day may come, can you imagine how far and how advanced that might? Because that leaves the congregation, that leaves the ministers, the elders, the preacher, whatever the heads. It gives them ability to use that money to buy other things. So so now we can buy us a bunker, and now we can buy we can
buy a tractor,
security.
buy some land, and buy a tractor, and we have farmland.
And when they don't have to worry about, okay, we got to make sure we got to feed everybody. We got to make sure make sure everybody's got water and stuff like that. So, Naba.
For sure. So, amen.
Like eggs.
AIDS?
Like eggs.
You have AIDS?
I like eggs. I don't like lamb though.
My lamb gets down. I think some lamb for Passover gets down.
Lamb is gross no matter who cooks it.
So, all I said being done, keep standing, don't drop standards. Get the almighty hand claps from us.
Why are you doing that to her? You got in front of the camera. Why can't she get in front of the camera as well?